Soviet 7.62mm Mosin Nagant M1944 carbine, the French 9mm MAT-49 submachine gun, and the M1918A2 Browning automatic rifle, to name a few. From 1968, though, VC forces started to be equipped with the more formidable Soviet 7.62mm AK-47 and the RPG-56 light machine gun. The Waffen SS also had an impressive arsenal of primary weapons to choose from. Standard rifle was the German Army's 7.92mm R98K, a traditional breech loader with a 5-round magazine. To add to this, the SS had an impressive selection of submachine guns at their disposal, such as the MP-28, MP-34-35, MP-38, and MP-40, as well as a range of elite heavy machine guns, including the MG-34 and MG-42, famed for their incredible rate of fire. Although having limited range and accuracy, personal sidearms like the Luger, P-38 Walther, and Mauser pistols were also used, but only as a last resort. On balance, then, both sides appear to have an equal amount of firepower at their disposal. The important difference, however, was that unlike the Viet Cong, who employed anything they could get their hands on, the SS arsenal was far more standardized. Thus, their greater familiarity with the weapons they used would give them a slight advantage over the VC fighters, who were often forced to use rifles and machine guns they hadn't been taught to use properly. Explosives. Explosive weapons were the RPG-2, Type 56, and RPG-7 anti-tank projectors, primarily used to destroy unsuspecting enemy tanks and armor. These rocket-propelled grenade launchers were not only lethal, but extremely easy to operate, requiring only an hour's training. Elsewhere, the VC were equipped with a variety of basic US, Russian, and Chinese or crudely animated grenades and mines, as well as mortars ranging from 16mm to 120mm in caliber. The Waffen SS soldier was also equipped with an impressive assortment of explosives, with conventional egg and stick and grenades, anti-personnel and anti-armor mines, and mortars as just some of the traits on offer. However, the most formidable SS armaments in this category were a pair of German-designed bazookas. This included the Panzerfaust, a simple metal tube that ejected a fin-stabilized grenade with a range of 30 meters that could penetrate 140 millimeters of armor plate, and the Panzerschreck, which had a range of 120 meters and could penetrate 100 millimeters of armor plate. With these types of munitions, both sides appear to be pretty evenly matched, with no clear winner. Equipment and supplies. In appearance, the Viet Cong were decked out with a green or black pajama-style uniform or camouflage or civilian clothes that made them indistinguishable from the local population. To blend in with their jungle surroundings, they were also issued a U.S. four-color nylon parachute cloth. On their head, they either wore a broad-brimmed jungle hat, a light olive green or tan cloth-colored fiber dip helmet, or Chinese and Soviet steel helmets. Viet Cong guerrillas traveled extremely light and were usually able to carry 5 days' worth of rations, which consisted mainly of rice and everything else they needed in their pockets. Unlike the Viet Cong, who only fought in the subtropical temperatures of their homeland, clothes that catered to all environmental conditions. All personnel were also issued a reversible pullover smock with multiple camouflage configurations for all seasons and bio, with light and dark green for spring, purplish brown for summer, and brown for autumn. Placed on their head was a steel helmet, offering limited protection, which also safeguarded the ears and neck. The SS were typically sent out on missions with a ration pack consisting of gray rye bread, canned meat, canned vegetables, butter, coffee, and sugar that could last them about 4 days. While the SS and superior equipment had a greater quantity of rations, the lightly packed Viet Cong were a lot more mobile and could survive for longer in the field. Run-out jungle engagement that required endurance and maneuverability, the Viet Cong would have the upper hand. On the other hand, in a battlefield that was sparser and colder, the SS would be a lot better prepared.
Yeah, it seems to be it. My chat said, did some research, and I noticed that about 8 minutes doesn't happen. So, 30 seconds after come out. So far, everything's good. So far, so good. Oh, it changed! Oh, look at the ice cream.
Let's see that again. The other Gemini app. She needs a senseless expensive for the high app. And she gets it. Calculated finish from Gemini.
Oh, that's what that is. You're going to use that for the
conscripts were usually put together in small groups that were taught the basics of warfare in the form of lectures and repetitive exercises. While the extent and quality of practical hands-on instruction was often determined by the availability of weapons and equipment on hand. This lack of standardization meant that instructors were often forced to improvise with the little resources at their disposal. Cardboard silhouettes of helicopters, for example, were often suspended on pulley ropes for riflemen to shoot. A chronic lack of ammunition also meant that some guerrillas, after 6 to 8 days of basic training, only received weapons training after being assigned to their unit, or while actually in combat. While the average Viet Cong soldier was only 1.6 meters in height, the Waffen-SS were much more selective, only accepting men into their ranks who were at least 1.8 meters tall. As well as being physically superior, SS servicemen were also better trained. As Nazi Germany's most elite fighting unit, they were subject to a brutal and strict training regime, where aggression was encouraged and rewarded by instructors. This was reinforced by mock rifle and bayonet duels, martial arts lessons, and boxing, which was viewed as a good way to teach men to overcome their fear of pain. Training was also incredibly thorough, with men expected to strip down and clean their rifles blindfolded by the end of it. In this area then, the SS would very clearly have the edge over the Viet Cong, whose improvised training regime often locally prepared recruits for real combat situations. In contrast, the SS made better soldiers because of a greater emphasis on aggression, professionalism, combat proficiency, and battlefield readiness. Tactics. The Viet Cong's preferred battlefield tactic was guerrilla warfare, a strategy in which fighters blended in with the environment to hide their position from the enemy. In a typical raid, they would launch a quick surprise attack before retreating back into the undergrowth of the jungle. They also used a vast underground network of tunnels stretching for over 200 miles to conceal their movements. These subterranean complexes not only helped with ambush, but were littered with lethal booby traps that incorporated spikes, grenades, and even snakes and scorpions. The Waffen-SS, on the other hand, put a lot less emphasis on sabotage and ambush, preferring to crush their foe with speed, precision, and intensity. The basic concept of the blitzkrieg tactic was to overpower small segments of the enemy line with an intense onslaught of personnel and torrents of grenades and heavy fire. After men were told to move forward as quickly as possible to keep their opponents unbalanced, as further actions on either side wiped out enemy regiments on their flanks. Even against a better equipped enemy that was near this strategy could be incredibly effective. On the other hand, the blitzkrieg, designed for the many pitched battles of World War II, would be extremely ineffective against the Viet Cong because they actively avoided open engagements. In contrast, as shown by the American experience in the Vietnam War, guerrilla warfare could bring the most technologically advanced army in the world to its knees, making it likely that the SS would suffer a similar fate. Verdict. Having the advantage of better training and a focus on extreme aggression, in a conventional open battle, the Waffen SS would decimate the less disciplined Viet Cong in a gunfight, despite both sides possessing a similar amount of firepower. Equally, in a close quarters duel, the SS, who were much bigger in stature, trained in martial arts, and they had sharp talents, would more easily be able to defeat their smaller Vietnamese foe. On the other hand, if it was a protracted conflict fought among jungles and forests, then the Viet Cong would emerge as clear winners, since they could survive longer in the wild and with less resources than the SS. Viet Cong's knowledge and expert application of guerrilla warfare would ultimately prevail in a landscape where it was easier to hide and coax the enemy towards ambushes and traps. However, in environments with less natural cover, the SS would likely have the upper hand, since the Vietnamese would have no choice but to directly confront them.
Hey, it's Chris Kane, and you're probably used to hearing me during one of our advertising spots. But today I want to talk about something a little bit different. Every video that we create is more than just content. It's a blend of research, of creativity, of passion for history. We do it because we believe in the power of history, because its lessons, its stories, and its ability to connect everybody is what we're all about. Sometimes the reality of operating a YouTube channel presents challenges in the form of demonetization, occasionally, which impacts the ability to produce content that we're passionate about. Our amazing audience to ask for your support in keeping the channel, our shared passion, alive and thriving. We're inviting you to join us on Patreon and contribute to the ongoing creation of our content. By joining us on Patreon, you're doing more than just supporting our content. You're becoming an integral part of the community, and we're dedicated to preserving and promoting history. Remember, every bit of support makes a real difference. If you'd like to learn more about how you can help, please visit the link in the description below. Thank you as always for your interest and your love for history.
I'm sorry. Please don't worry about it.
That's scary.
Hands over the ancient hawk to our artifact.
This is what happens when a bully encounters an even stronger bully. And last time I bullied every male bully on Talkie AI, but today I'm attempting to bully every female bully until I break every single one of them. To find out whether male or female AI bullies are stronger, each of these chatbots have a different difficulty level, so let's start with the easiest bully and work our way up to the final boss. So this is level 1 and we are up against Asuka Ira, and she only has 627 followers, and so I don't think she'll be too difficult to deal with. And